Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Tuesdays with Dr. T. So, why am I silly laughing? Because we are going to be talking today about the causes of autism. What causes autism? Why your child has autism? And all of those jazz. Okay? So, the thing is, it's a very controversial topic. And I am a little scared to talk about it. Okay? Because you never know when somebody gets offended and then they does all of those things that they usually do, okay? Anyways, but my main passion, my main purpose for having Autism Success Academy is to bring you real, tangible information, okay? And those are based on science, not woo-woo. They are science and they are based on experiences, what I see. So, in my experience, because I have been working with kids on the spectrum and I myself am a neurodiverse, right? So I have been working with these kids for like 3 years and I have personally spoken to about 175. Yeah, that's how many people who have applied for our program. So I have spoken to 175 parents over around 1 hour or over for the last 3 months, and I have otherwise spoken to hundreds of parents, DMing and asking and whatnot. So the thing is, I rarely saw a parent telling us that, a child, I don't know what he said. So their child was showing symptoms not by born, not during birth, not right after birth, not even early childhood, okay? I have always asked the first question that I ask any parent who's talking to me one-on-one. Walaikum assalam, Jasmine Apu. So anytime I'm speaking with a parent one-on-one, first question I asked was, when was the first time you started seeing these symptoms? No eye contact, poor eye contact, no looking, no talking, and all of those things, right? So they would always, 100% of the parents, sorry. So 100% of the parents told me that their child was fine until maybe the age of 1 or 1.5 years or 2 years, sometimes even 3 years. And then I am always like, this is fascinating. Because everybody tells us, the doctors, the people, the professionals who work with autism, they always tells us that it's a genetic thing, right? Autism is caused by gene and genetic thing. So if it's by-born, and they also say that autism is by-born, like your child is born autistic. But I always say your child is not born autistic, your child was made autistic, okay? Anyways, so if your child has been showing proper development or quite okay-ish development until a certain age, and after that you started seeing regression, no eye contact, no talking with you, no reaction and whatnot, then doesn't it beg for questioning, like what happened suddenly that this child is now showing improper or delayed development? So there should be reasons, and this thing pretty much seems like sudden, because a child was quite okay for a certain period of time, until 1 year, until 1.5 years, depends on when your child was. So let me know in the comment just right now as you were listening, what was the age of your child when you first started seeing regression? Please let me know so that we can get a more, deeper discussion about it. So please let me know in the comment, what was your child's age when you first started seeing all of the symptoms of autism? Because I am 100% sure your child was not born without eye contact. Your child was not born non-verbal, okay? Maybe your child used 1 or 2 words and then he or she stopped talking. Maybe your child used to look at you, but then he stopped looking at you. Maybe your child was actually quite okay developmentally. See, Dana says that nearly 2 years. Jasmine says 3.5 years. So my question is, if you started seeing your child's regression or symptoms by the age of 2 years or 3.5 years, for me, I saw around 1 year. But, by 7 months, he was actually a little less of eye contact wise, little less. So what I was saying is, until that age, kids are usually okay and fine. After that, they start showing regression. Why? There should be some valid reason. Because if it's genetic, then your child would be born with no eye contact, no babbling, no sound, no nothing. I hope this is making sense, right? So usually what happens is the community, the advocates, all of those people, they would say that it's happening due to 3 reasons. Number 1, genetic, and they push genetic like 100% of the time, most of the time. They push genetic 100% of the time or most of the time. So apart from genetic, what are the causes? I have done my own research here, by the way, to be updated and give you the, information. So now they're saying it's causing due to genes. The number 2 reason for autism is biological causes, and the 3rd reason is for environmental reasons. Okay. So Jasmine says, so her daughter, or is it a son? So what happened was her daughter or son, her child, suddenly around the age of 3.5, she got, what was that? Oh, the child got a very high fever, got infection, and right after that, all of these things started. Thank you so much for sharing that. Okay. Sanjina says Fatima was doing all things 1.5 years. That means the child was perfectly growing okay until 1.5 years. And then she started getting worried because the babbling was very less and the child was not talking. Fatima was not talking, right? Okay. So my question is, we are told that autism is caused due to gene. If it's caused due to gene, then Tania Apu, Jasmine Apu, Charmaine, Sanjina, all of you moms should be autistic also, right? Right. So let's take gene, an example. Any disease which is connected to genes, by the way, every disease or disorder can be connected to gene, because we are made up of genetic materials. But the thing is, putting all the blames on gene is just such a surface level band-aid kind of situation, because genes does not show problems until there is an environmental stress on the gene. Genes which are prone to having diabetes, which makes you prone to being autistic, etc., does not start showing action until the environment starts stressing the gene. And that's when the genes come out and then they show reaction to you. It's layman term. Okay, I'm telling you in layman term. So Sanjana says she agrees with me. Thank you so much for that. So genes, if autism was caused by genes, then you, your husband, your in-laws, someone in the family would be autistic too. Now tell me, is anybody else in your family autistic? Has autism? Please tell me in the comment. If you or your husband has autism as well. If not, then we can rule out genes. Okay? So, the fact is, epigenetics is now the more recent development. So what epigenetics tells us is this. So epigenetics tells us that a gene reacts or changes or mutates, mutations of genes. So a gene changes or reacts or shows action based on the environment the gene is in. So for example, if you are in a home that has no stress, no financial worries, will you be stressed or will you be happy? You will be happy, because your environment is nothing to be stressed of. Versus if you stay in a home or a place where everybody is fighting, there is lack of money, there is lack of connection, lack of love, then will you be happy in that home? No. What will you feel? You will feel stressed. Why? Because your environment is putting stress on you. Similarly, when we are talking about the genes showing reaction, what happens is the genes, they get affected by the environment. Okay? And why is it important to know what causes autism? Why is it important? It's important to know why your child has autism so that you can understand if you can help your child by removing the pather kata, by removing the obstacle towards your child's brain development, right? So Dana says, no, the doctor said it's genetic, and I was like, but nobody in our families has autism exactly. And then the doctor said, doesn't matter, it's genetic. So Dana, she's from Germany, she's one of our students. She says that when she went to the doctor said it's genetic. And when she told the doctor that nobody in the family has autism, then how come it's genetic? Then the doctor said it doesn't matter. So as long as something suits them, they keep on saying that. Okay? Okay. So Sanjana says, 2 of my husband's cousin's son have autism, but we have 9 brothers and sisters with no symptoms. Okay, here's the thing. Your husband, first of all, if a gene is showing action, it has to come from very close biological relations. For example, you or the father, mother, father, or, grandfather, grandmother, and uncles, aunts, like that, because they are blood connected. When a gene goes on from cousins and cousins' daughters or son, then it's a farther away from the close blood relation, because genes, when they move from person to person, from generation to generation, it shows a different sort of reaction. Okay, so if you or your husband or the grandfather, grandmother, like that, I'm not saying genetic is not the cause. What I'm saying is stop blaming or saying that everything is, genes problem. So autism is not predominantly genetic. When I'm saying it's not predominantly genetic, that means you can work on it. If you believe that it's genetic, then you would be like, okay, it's the blueprint, I cannot do anything about it. Here's the thing. Let's say you want to build a home. You got connected with the architect, and the architect gave you a blueprint. Okay, and then he built the home, and then you saw certain problems are going on. Okay, the proportion is not right, the tiles is not right, and whatnot. What do? We can change certain aspect of that made building, because nothing in the world is permanent, except if your hands is cut off, you will not grow another hand. That's a permanent disability. Physiological loss of limbs is a permanent disability. Other than that, autism is not a permanent problem. Okay, so the second thing that everybody wants us to believe is it's a biological cause. And yes, I agree with that, because I have seen in all of my students, in all the kids that I've worked with, that yes, biology affects the problems. Okay, so the biological causes are: number 1, brain connections; number 2, growth or overgrowth of certain areas of the brain; number 3, metabolism of the child's body; and number 4, immune system. So just now, some of us, one of our group member just now said that the child fell sick, very sick, and that's when she started seeing the regression, right? If I'm not mistaken, it was Jasmine Apu. So the thing is, that's the real correlation. So your child was perfectly okay, and then maybe your child got very sick, a very bad infection. Sometimes air infection is also connected to it. We're told that air infection is connected to that as well. So all those infections suddenly happens, and then what do? Usually if our child has infections, we are given antibiotics, a big dose of antibiotics for a long period of time. Here's the thing. Do you even know that antibiotics actually doesn't do anything much? Your child's body is already fighting against the infection. What the antibiotic does is it maybe improves 1% or 2% or even 5%. So if antibiotic was the cure of infection, then right after taking the antibiotic, the infection should have been vanished in 1 or 2 days, but it doesn't happen. We still have to take antibiotics for 3, 5, 7, 9, 14 days, right? Why? Because if the antibiotics was really resolving the infection, then it wouldn't have been necessary to take so long, right? So we are always told to complete the dosage of the treatment. Otherwise, there is a chance for relapse, the thing coming back. Okay. So about brain connections, what happens is when our child is born, when the child is inside your body, you are pregnant with your child, and what happens is your brain, your body, the nutrition that you are taking, the food that you are taking, the stress that you are in, the water that you are taking, the fruits and vegetables that you are taking, all of those things are going inside of you, right? And from your inside, your child is getting the nutrition and all of those things, the stress as well. So previously, I remember a few years ago when I first started writing my blog, I mentioned that, fast lifestyle and mothers not taking the time to relax when they are pregnant and, going forward always is a reason. And then I was backlashed by a lot of moms, like, you are mom shaming me, you are mom shaming career woman. I was not mom shaming career woman. What I was saying was right, because now when I wrote that, it was 2019. So at 2022, I will share with you guys this, this research. So at 2022 research proved that stress during mother's womb can cause autism. I will give you 1 minute to think about it. Mother's nutrition, mother's body condition, mother's immunity, mother's gut microbiome, mother's stress, mother's happiness, all of those things creates your child. So your biology affects your child and also the environment. I am sorry if today's live is a little sounding like scattered, but the thing is, there are so many things that makes up or breaks the trajectory of our child, and a small live is not actually enough for me to show all the reasons and to talk about all the stuff. Okay, so please bear with me if it sounds like scattered, because I will try to come back. Okay, so the 3 reasons that we are usually told are genetic, and then biological and environmental, right? So biology is coming from the mother also mostly. And then what is the child's biology? The child's biology is his digestive system, his detoxification system, his blood circulation system, his metabolic system, and his brain's nervous system. Okay, nervous system. So a body is not just 1 or 2 systems. A body is a combination of all the systems running together. Okay, so your child's body is a combination of all the things that runs together. This is the reason why I talk about diet change so much, because digestive system is one of the most important pillar for your child's brain development, because digestive system is the gut, and the gut carries on 80% of the responsibility to produce neurotransmitters. So if your child is sad, angry, upset, tantrum, meltdown, cannot sleep. All of those things are coming because your child's body cannot regulate serotonin and melatonin properly. The gut, in fact, okay? If your child is having hard time with constipation, that's happening because the microbiome is lacking in, it's deficient in, okay? So when you work on the digestive system, when you work on the detoxification system, when you work on the biological system of your child, you will help your child's brain to develop. So it will no longer be a permanent cause. Here's the thing. Every single article that I have gone through since yesterday and this morning also, everywhere, be it CDC, be it, US Department of Health and Human Services, everybody starts by saying scientists don't know exactly what causes autism. If scientists don't know what causes autism, if doctors don't know what causes autism, then why do you say it is genetic? And there's nothing that you can do. It's a permanent disability. Is it making sense what I'm saying to you guys? Please let me know in the comment if it's making sense. If not, I'll try to reiterate it. So they don't even know what is caused by autism. I mean, what causes autism? Because the disorder is so complex and no two people on the spectrum are exactly alike, there are probably many causes of autism. And it's likely that there is no single cause of autism. So scientists are studying some of the following as possible causes and contributors to ASD. Possible. So I would say if your system, if the research are divided on some people saying it is genetic and some people saying we don't even know what is causing it, then I say you listen to your gut and what your basic biological education have taught you. So all of us learned from our school, from our O-levels, from our inter-matric, from our grade 10 or 12. What do we learn? We learn that we need, for human body to work properly, we need to make sure that we are eating well, we are having exercise, we are sleeping well, right? And we are in a nice, healthy environment. That's the 5 pillars that I'm talking about. That's just basic science. That's basic science, okay? So if genes are not the rigidity reason, biology is. And the third reason that they said, and we all agree to it, is the environmental causes of autism. So let's connect the genetic reason with the environmental reason, and then you will understand the connection. So the genes are said to be mutating or changing or showing action whenever there is an environmental stress present in it, okay? So the third reason is environmental. So when there is toxin in the environment, the food, the water, the, air, whatever the child is getting inside the body has toxins, has neurodegenerative toxins or chemicals. Means what? What's neurodegenerative? Means something that degenerates, that breaks down, that destroys the neurons. That's neurodegenerative, okay? So neurodegenerative chemicals from cleaning agents, from laundry detergents, from the food that we eat, from pesticide, from microbials, from even the antimicrobial soap that we take on. Chemical is everywhere. So your child body is also producing chemicals and toxins every single day, just like you are doing. So you are not having problem because your body is capable of reducing or letting go of these toxins. But this child's body is biologically struggling. Its metabolism is not very nice. That's why your child's body cannot digest the food properly or the toxins properly. So what's happening is, apart from environmental toxins coming from outside to the body, your child's body is also producing a lot of toxins and chemicals. So that's increasing the stress of the toxins on the nervous system. I haven't seen or heard a single child who did not react positively towards diet change, who did not show improvement with, detoxification, with environmental stress removal, with nature's therapy. I haven't seen a single mom who tried all of those things telling me that it didn't work for us. Yes, sometimes some mom says that, okay, we tried GAPS diet, it worked for a few times and then it did not. The reason is only diet is not the answer. Your child needs the 5 pillars that we talk about. Okay? So the pillars are diet. And to make sure that your child's diet is on point, he or she is eating gut healthy diet, he or she is given the support that the child, digestive system can digest the food properly. Because just now I said if your child cannot digest the food properly, then he or she will create even more toxins, right? So what you have to do is make sure that your child is having a gut healing and gut healthy diet. The second thing that your child needs is detoxification. And you cannot do it at home on your own. You need a professional to be on it. Please do not try to save a few $100 and do it yourself. You cannot do everything on your own. If you're not a healthcare professional, please don't do it on your own. Go seek a professional for that, okay? The third thing that your child needs is the environmental support, right? So the environmental support comes from lifestyle and also how you parent your child, which is the need-based parenting. So need-based parenting is a way that you learn more about autism. You learn more about your child. You learn more about why something is going to be causing something and not taking everything just like, oh, my doctor said diet is not important, so I will not do anything. Let him eat chicken nuggets. No? Because we have enough proof even inside our community that you guys went to the doctor, you know some sort of, basic rules and norms about good health. And then the doctor says like, it's not important. Even I say all the time that when I went to a very big, renowned pediatrician, she told me, just keep your son alive. So listening to people who have their own agenda, who even does not know what they're talking about or whose knowledge is little, it's better if you do not take information and ideas from them. Okay? Every single year, 400,000 to 600,000 kids only in the United States are diagnosed with autism. 400,000 kids in Bangladesh, in India, in Pakistan, in UK, USA, Canada, everywhere kids are on the rise. And if we say it's an epidemic, there are some people, no, it's not an epidemic. Do you know what is an epidemic? Epidemic is when you see something happening to most of the people. And yes, 10 years ago, autism was 1 in 88 kids. In 2012, in 2023, CDC shared a recent report by CDC. It's not just me making up the thing. So CDC is Center for Disease Prevention, something like that, okay? It's under the government of US. So that's the most important thing that you need to know. I don't know what happened. I got kicked out. Because they don't want me to speak real things, okay? Anyways. So the CDC tells us what? The CDC tells us that now 1 in 36 kids are having autism. Versus 10 years ago, it was 1 in 88 kids. You do the math. You do the calculation and you do the math. You do the calculation and you do the math. So nowadays, 1 in 36, thanks for hopping on. 1 in 36 kids are now being diagnosed with ASD. So what is autism? Autism is just a diagnosis in which the test taker makes sure whether your child is showing age-appropriate developmental milestones or not. That's it. So, if your son or daughter starts showing development, what does that mean? That means you have let go of the diagnosis. And if your child is not showing the symptoms of autism, then there is no autism happening. Autism, if your child is very young now, it's the perfect time for you to work on your child, because this is the way that your child's brain will develop. And here's the most beautiful thing. Our brain, human brain, is neuroplastic in nature. Means it behaves like plastic. It can regenerate. Human brains regenerate every single day. Yes, it takes about 2 years for complete renewal and a makeover of the brain. And as early as possible. When you work with very young child, the recovery and your child having a very perfect normal life is very high. Yes, the percentage goes a little slower or down as the child age goes up. But if your child is 10 years old, it's still there is a possibility that your child will have a normal life if you start working on your child brain development. And brain development is not a permanent disability. You can start working on it. If your child's brain is not understanding information, producing information, doing all the things that a 3-year, 5-year, 7-year, 8-year, 10 years old is supposed to be doing, then you have the full responsibility, authority, and power to start working on it. So to summarize, the causes of autism, what we are told is it's genetic, it's permanent. But what it really is if it was genetic, then you, your husband, in-laws, they would be autistic too. If they are not, then we can safely say, probably not genetic. The second thing that your child's cause for autism is environmental. And yes, it's connected with the genes. Because when we have environmental stress on the child, by terms of chemicals, by terms of nutritional deficiencies, by terms of stress, all of those things affects the development of your child's brain. And the third reason is biological, and yes, we agree with that, because biology is what's happening inside. Environment is happening outside, right? So biological reason is what's happening inside the body, and the environmental reason is how you are raising the child, what you are feeding the child, what's coming from outside. So causes of autism are changeable. The most important thing that you need to know now is this. Whatever reason your child has developed autism, when you release those reasons, when you let go of those problems, when you overcome those obstacles and help your child's brain to regenerate, to rejuvenate, then your child will start speaking, your child will start having eye contact, your child will start having a very regular and normal life. It's very much possible. I'm seeing it every single day inside our group. Okay? Here's the most beautiful thing that you need to take from today's episode, and that is, even if your child is severely struggling now, you still can do a lot of improvement to your child's development. How? Number one, work on your mindset. That's our fifth pillar. Because your belief system is the number one reason why you are stuck. If your belief system is somebody of, I just follow through what I am told. Because maybe when you were raised, you were told, don't ask question, just follow the instruction. If your parents were like this, if your teachers were like this, if your siblings, elder siblings were like this, then you learn to take orders, not to ask questions. And we are, these days, we are raised that way. The school system, the family system, all of these systems are now making us like employees. We are made to just follow information. We are made to just follow instructions, not to ask questions. Anytime you ask question, your questions are laughed at, mocked at, or disregarded. Why? Because it is the way the system has been going on for the last 100 years. There was nothing much of autism 100 years ago. And why this is on the rise? Because of the agricultural system, because of the industrial system, because of the financial system, and because of the ecosystem of our humanities at this moment. The agricultural system, the industrial system, they all are like brothers and sisters. They are corporations. They are big corporations. The pharmaceutical industries, those are big corporations. And they want you to be sick. They don't want you to be asking questions. That's why you are brainwashed to not ask questions but to follow through. That's why hundreds and thousands of parents in all the big groups, they keep on asking and begging for this and that, but there is no solution. Why? Because they don't give you the solution. They don't want you to find the solution. And if you have been having a child on the spectrum for a few years, you start actually believing, oh, probably nothing much is going to happen. বিশ্বাসে মিলায় বস্তু তর্কে বহুদূর. If you believe something, you will see that happening. Why? Because your belief system affects your action, and your actions gives results. So if I believed, if I was raised, yes, to some extent I was actually raised to just follow, to keep on following. My mom was like that. Okay, I had to follow every single of her directions and everything. So for me, I was not able to change much. But for Muhammad, I rebuilt myself. Do you know why? Because as a neurodiverse, I know how painful my life was. And I did not want that life for Muhammad. So yes, sometimes the parent has autism. Just like me, I have, and then Muhammad has. But I actually have 3 kids. Not 2, I have 3 kids. So my firstborn and my lastborn, they don't have autism. Only my middleborn has. Why? That's another story I'll share another day. But in summary, the middleborn, Muhammad, has autism. Why? Because while I was pregnant with him, I had the most amount of stress in my life. My lifestyle was very unhealthy. After he was born, I had nutritional deficiencies. I had severe stress, financial difficulties, and all of those things, which contributed to him starting having regression and him getting his diagnosis. Okay? Because for Ira, I was very careful. For my thirdborn, I was very careful. What I started doing with her was, I changed her diet at the same time I changed Muhammad's diet. Because that time I was not sure about the genes not being the 100% reason, right? So I was told genes are 100% reason. So I got like, okay, so if gene is 100% reason, then Ira has also 100% chance of getting the autism. So I was very careful with her food, with her sleep, with her, the way I was raising her. And alhamdulillah, she doesn't have autism. Okay? So the causes of autisms are not a permanent thing written in stone that you cannot change. Your child's brain is neuroplastic in nature. It can regenerate. It can regrow. The centers of the brain which are now slowly developing can fast forward if you give your child's brain the right support. And please stop believing what you are told to believe all the time. It pains my heart when I see hundreds of parents keeping on asking for solutions that are not actually solving the problem. They're just managing the problem. Very few questions in the autism groups are by parents who are asking, what should I feed my child? How can I help my child poop properly? For example, in Autism Bangladesh, Bangladeshi community, 99% of the question is, I am staying here. Where can I get a therapist? Are the therapies really helping your child to speak, to be able to behave well? Because your child is not a monkey that you can train and force to behave from outside. Your child's anger, frustration, sleep problem, constipation, all of those things are coming because the internal struggles that your child has. Okay? Please start working on your child's diet. At least change the food. And some of the parents sometimes says, I cannot do a GF diet. If you cannot do a gluten-free diet, you're not doing your work as a mother. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to say that. I didn't plan to mom shame anybody. The causes of autism are not in your hand, but the solutions are in your hand. And if you do not take the solutions and the responsibilities, then it's up to you how far your child will go. Because if you accept your takdir, oh my God, Allah to lekhe rakhse amar chhele autistic hobe to oi sahi, then it's okay. The thing is, there is so much that you can do for your child. So please start working on the child's brain development. Change the diet. It's very much possible. It's really affordable as well. The only thing stopping is your laziness, because you don't want to find alternative to white rice, because rice is easy to cook. এক পাতিলা ভাত রান্না করে রাখেন, কয়েকটা তরকারি রান্না করে রাখেন, বদুত করে মিখায়া বাচ্চারে খাওয়ায় দেন. That's what you are doing, because it's easy to do. It's easy to cook a pot of rice and some curries and then feed your child. It's easy to buy bread from the store, buy peanut butter and jelly and then slam it together and say it's lunch. It's easy to do. That's why you are doing. And that's why you are telling me that I cannot change diet. Money is not the issue. Because when I was working with Muhammad, I was dirt poor. But I still found ways to give him the fruits and veggies that he needed. I'm sorry. Most of the time, I do not do all this. I am very much soft and whatnot, but it's really cranking me out. I'm very upset to see mom after mom DMing me, oh, I don't know how to do it. It's fine. If you don't know, then I can teach you. I have lots of free resources. I have paid resources. Up to you, whichever way you want to go. But if you say, I cannot change the diet because, letting go of wheat is impossible for me, then that's up to you. Then it's on you. Then you are the cause of autism, not anything else. Okay? So as a mom, as a dad, please let's not be the causes of our child's autism, because the child's developmental delay is not permanent. It's not a disability until you make it a disability. Okay? I should stop right now, because if I don't stop, then I might say things that will make some of you feel very uncomfortable, because already I have said some uncomfortable truths today. I'm sorry. Maybe you will post a lot of rude comments towards me wherever you will be seeing this or wherever you are seeing this. But a few days ago, I actually gave myself permission to come and speak the truth. Because for the last 3 years, I have been very soft and saying mellow things, and that's the growth is not as fast as I would want to see in our community. And our community, by saying our community, is not just Autism Success Academy. It's the whole wide world of kids on the spectrum and parents who are parents of these kids. We are all one big community. And our community, unfortunately, is divided just like all other communities. Some people think that it's a permanent disability. I have nothing to do about it, because they don't want to do about it. Because it will take them to spend money. It will take them to get their lazy ass off the couch and start cooking and trying to feed the child. and trying to work on themselves. Yes, some parents, they have a broken mindset. And my love goes to those moms because they were betrayed by their own mothers. They were betrayed by the society to believe that they are small and pathetic and incapable. But I am talking to those parents who have the resources but yet does not want to spare those resources for the child. That's not right. That's not fair. So if you have a mindset problem, I ask you to do your own research. Please don't go ask your doctors or your therapists or your professionals. Please don't do that. You do just simple research on the Google University. It's totally free. And you will know a lot of information. Because whatever I have seen so far, it's not just saying it's a permanent thing. It's just genes. Lots of papers are on environmental toxins. Lots of papers are on biological toxins, on metabolism disabilities, the disruptions, what's causing the disabilities. So do your own research. And when you start seeing that, yes, there are proofs, then you can have more faith on the system. Okay? So if my doctor or the research community cannot say that 100% the reason of autism is this, then I am not bound to listen to them. Maybe I have more confidence because I was a research scientist. I still am. I was in the research arena. I was an academician. I know how research are conducted. I know how you can tamper data. I know who decides the outcome of the research. I know that. Okay? So we will talk about more on that in a later video. But up until today, the main takeaways are this. Your child's autism is not caused solely due to genetics. It's mostly because of the biological deficiencies inside and also the environmental stress around. And you can work on all of those things by working on the 5 pillars of changing the diet into gut healthy diet, working on your child's detoxification so those environmental toxins and the internal toxins can be released and removed slowly and steadily. The third thing is working on your child's lifestyle, non-toxic supplies and food and everything, working on the nature, playing on the nature, grounding, all of those things, meditation. The fourth thing is asking and understanding your child and giving the child love and acceptance. A lot of the father like, no, this cannot be my son. What the F? He is your son. He came from your, what. You cannot just say or disrespect or not accept your child because he is different. That's very bad. That's very, very, very not irresponsible of you. So need-based parenting is when you understand the child. You accept your child, but you do not accept the diagnosis. Autism acceptance, real autism acceptance is accepting the child's struggle and working on improving the struggles. That's real autism love and autism acceptance is, okay? And the 5th pillar is working on yourself, on your mindset. If you have deficiencies, work on those deficiencies. Scrolling internet for hours will not give you results. Following 10 different people will not give you results. Results will come only when you start working on your child, following one step at a time process, okay? So until next time, I'll see you guys. Today was a pretty hotshot topic, and I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry if I was right. Okay, I'll see you in the next one. Allah Hafiz.